Hello everyone, this is Diane. I completed number 6 of the Christmas journals for 2023, and I had said early on that I wanted to try to get all the Christmas journals done by the end of October, and I finished this on October 31st. So we are ready to go through it and take a look at it. I think this one is my favorite one of this year. So it's made with a fabric cover. I used a lot of pieces that Karina sent me from Sweden, so it does have a Scandinavian feel to it and a lot of Swedish elements. And this fabric, this piece right here, is one of the pieces, and it goes along with this piece. They were connected. I cut them in half and split them up, and then this fabric here was also from the same fabric, I'm assuming. She sent them, this was like on a strip of fabric. So I cut them out and just glued them on, and I did a video where we were finishing the cover, so that was included there. And I added some lace and rickrack that were in my stash. The rickrack is vintage, and I used some fabric from my stash that I think went really well with it. I added some buttons along this curved part on the front. I sewed them right to the cover before I lined it, so you don't see the stitches. This ribbon that Karina sent me says Good Yule or Merry Christmas in Swedish. There's a giant rickrack behind it. And then we did this little collage in yesterday's video with some assorted crochet doily motifs. I took some strips of fabric, some little scraps of fabric, and made this tie. You can tie it in a chunky bow or just a knot. On the inside, I used another fabric to line it, and then I added another piece of that oval printed fabric from Sweden, and I didn't cut this one in half. I cut this one. This was a bigger piece because he was right in the middle. I didn't want to cut him. And this piece is a pocket. I added this wrapping paper that Karina sent me to a giant tag, and then just added a label so you can write your name on it. Lots of journaling space on the back of that. I sewed pieces of scrapbook paper together to make my pages big enough, and so the pages are 6 3/4 by, I think, 9.5. Yep, 9.5. So they're good size pages. I added some crochet here and a little gold rickrack. This piece came from Sweden along with the ribbon. It's cardstock and rickrack behind it. I reinforced this. This was a thin sheet paper, and I added an old lined paper to it so you can write on it. And this is a bookmark. I believe that came from Karina. And this was from my collection of 1940s cards. You can see where it was glued into a scrapbook. But isn't it sweet? I thought she looked perfect in this journal. And that's this little cute face you get to see when you open up the journal. And these pages were sewn together so that there would be a little pocket here. It doesn't go all the way down. It goes to here. I added another journaling page and a 1940s gift seal. It was in a scrapbook, the same scrapbook where the card was. Let's see if they're to the same girl. Yep, Baby Marie. And Karina sent me this postcard. It kind of looks like little Christmas elves on Halloween. But he's holding up his dish, so she must be making something to eat. And a little vintage lined paper from a little binder. This is a piece of stationery. I've loved this stationery paper, and this, I believe, is the last sheet. This came out of a vintage magazine from the 1930s, and it's a Christmas Carol. I think we did this, or at least I adhered it to the page on video. This is cardstock. Cardstock covered with fabric is the pocket, and then this snowflake that Carolyn sent me. And by the way, Carolyn sent me a letter after I opened that package from her. These all came from Sweden. This is a Swedish girl and her Christmas Festival of Saint Lucia outfit. And she sent me this. Carolyn sent me a letter and apologized for not including a note in the box and explained what some of the things were. And then she also included in that letter several things that she bought at a flea market or thrift store that said made in Sweden, and they were like this. They're this size of card. And I included several of them in here, so I'll point them out. That one came from Karina. This is wrapping paper, which is adhered to cardstock. There's just a scrap of pattern paper, a miniature Swedish postcard. Happy New Year. It's not really a postcard. And this is one that Carolyn sent me. See, it's the same size, has the deckled edges. It's blank inside. It's a gift enclosure, but the package that she got it in said it was made in Sweden. So she sent it to me just in time for me to include them. This label came from Karina. It says Merry Christmas. And I added this fun digital. It says today, fun day. I just added it because it's green and it's appropriate. This is a napkin Karina sent me. It's a digital shopping list for you. And I stamped on this page. There's another one of the outfits for the paper doll. Karina sent me a bunch of these first day cover stamp envelopes. This is from 1980. And you can put whatever you like in there. And this is a scrap of wrapping paper that I got at the flea market, but it looks like a Scandinavian sweater. Lots of journaling space here. These are just little bits of scrap paper, wrapping paper and scrapbook paper, and this little 1940s sticker. This is wrapping paper. I think I got it in a Happy Mail, but I don't think it was from Karina. And I added this eggnog bottle cap and this fabric from Karina. This is the Swedish straw goat. And is that a pomegranate? That's what it looks like. In this envelope, I included the rest of the little paper doll book that wasn't Christmassy. So you have the whole collection of the doll and her clothes. There's several pages in here. And this from Karina. This is Tomten. And I had cut pieces off it and used it in all the different books, but I'm including the rest of it in here. You can leave it as it is, set it up as a decoration, which is what I think it was meant for. It's double-sided. Or do what you want with it. It's just a fun piece. That was one signature. There are 6 signatures, and the pages vary, but there are, I think, 5 or 6 pages. 4 to 6 pages in each signature. This is a piece of doily that I had sprayed with color, and this, I love this. This was a thin Christmas Carol book with the red print, and I loved the font and the decoration at the top and the red printing. I just loved it. I think I used it all. Just some red tickets and some green lace and some sparkly pom-poms. I believe the pom-poms came from Carolyn. So Carolyn contributed a lot to this journal. This is paper, wrapping paper from Karina from Sweden, and this sticker also was from her. I loved the little label stickers that she sent. What was the other one? This one. And here I just used one of the Christmas plaid papers that I had printed, just folded it up. This is from a vintage tablecloth, or not a tablecloth, wrapping paper that I was able to remove from a scrapbook. And this is a card from Karina. Isn't that so cute? I will link, this was from Charm Studios, this plaid paper, and I linked it in yesterday's video, and I will link it in this video. Here is a large red doily. Here I took some red and green coin holders, coin rolls, and just glued them together in a little fan and tucked in these little long skinny tags. You can write on those or whatever, make a little quote, whatever you want to do, and a vintage sticker, a green flash card, and a Christmassy tally card tucked in there. This is a fabric from Karina, and I just glued it so that it's pockets on both sides. There's a journaling paper and a guest check. And over here is a scrap that you can write on, and a beautiful vintage Christmas card. And you can open it up for journaling. It's in good condition. That one wasn't in a scrapbook. I made a pocket here and added a coaster, a vintage coaster, and some trim around the edge. Tickets. Karina sent this to me. There's a doll in the trunk talking to the dachshund. And it has Swedish writing up there. And another page from the paper doll book. Another piece of the wrapping paper from the scrapbook. Those were very thin papers, very tissue paper-like. Here is a glassine bag that I had embossed, and I just tucked in this red bingo or lotto card. It had these marks. I think they're in pencil. You might be able to erase them. You could glue some paper or a photo to the back, or just journal on it the way it is. This is the third signature, and it has this really pretty trim from Switzerland. Not Sweden, Switzerland. Some journaling spaces and some angels from 1940s wrapping paper. Karina sent this to me. I love this embroidered ribbon, and I made it a pocket. It's got some paper behind it on top of this bigger pocket with a pretty music print on it. And this is a napkin that Karina sent, and I pointed out before in a different video this little girl who spies the tomten peeking in the window. It's so cute. He's got his goat, and the picture didn't cover the tag, so I stamped a Christmas wish up there and this little plaid border. And this card came from Karina. There's a napkin with that print also that you'll see on another tag. This came from a Swedish book. Karina sent me some pages, and I love that they were landscape oriented, so they're facing the right way. There's some Swedish words there. Lined, this is a green music manuscript paper. Perfect for journaling on. Another list paper here that you can write on. This looks like a corner of a tablecloth, and there's another Swedish label here. On this page, I used some vintage Christmas stamps and made a tiny little pocket. It says use zip code right there. And this stamp was empty. This spot was empty. Looks like something was glued there at one time. And this is from the 1940s scrapbooks. This adorable little gift tag. And this is just a merchandise tag. Yeah, there's no pocket there. On this side, I cut this Silent Night out of a music book, a Christmas music book, and added this lace and this little angel. Did we already have one of those in here? I think we did. But that's okay. I think she looks so pretty on this Silent Night page. And this did not come in a Happy Mail. This came from a flea market. And it is a Swedish Christmas card. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. It's written in English, but up here I don't understand the 1250. It says 18/12/57. So I don't really know what that means. Maybe it's December 18th, 1957. Someone that knows, let me know. It says made in Sweden here. So I had to include that. Okay, here is the next signature, and we have some more crochet trim and silver rickrack. We have, these are little British cars with a Santa Claus and packages, but Karina sent them to me. And there's some of that pom-pom. I see this one came unattached on one end. Here's that napkin with the little girl. I stamped the plaid in the background. And another outfit. And this paper has a lot of Christmas treats on it. And there's a pocket on this side. It's 2 pieces of scrapbook paper, and then I wanted the angel on something different, a different color, so I found this scrap and just I have it sticking off a little bit. I rounded the corners, and I really like the way that made the pocket look a little bit different, so I'm going to try to remember to do that in other journals. And this is wrapping paper, another plaid page, and I think this is from Current, maybe not, but it is a piece of stationery with the partridge in a pear tree. Another book page from Karina, and this embroidered piece with the church came from Karina. And this is one from Carolyn, I believe. This is from a napkin. This envelope is from this. And there's a 1940 sticker on it, a tally card, and a little card from Carolyn. These little cards are either from Carolyn or Karina. This is like a brown craft color wrapping paper with vintage images of Santa Claus. And I think Karina sent that to me. There's another vintage sticker up there. This is the cover of a stamp book from Karina. So it's Christmas stamps from Sweden. And she sent me this fabric. You'll see more of it over here. And I just included that little writing paper. This came out of a craft book, the one that I had made a domestic arts Christmas journal with. There's a list. You can fold this down and write on it. There's some green stamps and a stamp from Sweden. I know this one came from Carolyn. There's the rest of that paper. So on this stationery sheet this is the wrapping paper. I used the stationery sheet to cover the back of the wrapping paper and then added this list and another little piece of wrapping paper. It was fun to just kind of patch things together. This is a gorgeous first day cover with all of these Swedish stamps. They're so pretty, and this is so pretty. It's from 2006. And it's empty. This is napkin that I got at the flea market, but it looks like a Nordic sweater. And a gold doily, and Karina sent this to me. And that's just a digital. I had this red bingo card, and that might have come from Carolyn. And I added these little children cut from a Sears catalog, a vintage Sears catalog, and I just put a little strip of green behind them so they'd stand out better. Piece of that ribbon. And then this, I think I must have just found this somewhere. It's a little bit dirty, roughed up a bit, but I liked the red color with this, so I tucked it in there. This was a leftover strip of collage. and it was a good size for a side pocket. And this is an envelope from Karina. She sent some things inside it, but it says, it looks like a wax seal on it, and it says Merry Christmas. And this is from an old Simplicity pattern book with Christmas stockings and ornaments and decorations. And you can write on the back. I added lined paper. I love this piece. This was a Christmas card. I've talked about it in other videos because it opened up quite large and it had a flap. So I had a lot of pieces I could cut off it, and I just love the vibrant colors. So I made a little kind of a belly band, but I put it on crooked just for something different. And this is a vintage shipping tag. You can see the discoloration up here. Wrapping paper, more kids from the Sears book, and I stamped fa la la up there. Fifth signature, we have some more crochet trim, gold rickrack, and a rickrack package. This was a canary color though. And I put it on cardstock and added a vintage fragile label and a 1940s sticker. There's another of the Partridge in a Pear Tree stationery pieces. And this beautiful Christmas card from a scrapbook from the 40s. I love those little deer. And a little card from Karina. Looks like they're getting ready for their Christmas feast. There are packages there. This is an invitation. I got this at a flea market. You can open that up and write on it. And this, I think, is the last tall Santa German scrap piece that Karina sent. I think there were 3 of them. And I used them in various journals, and this one is the last one. I put him on cardstock so he could be tucked in here and written on. Some tickets you can move around and do what you want, and also a coaster that you can play with and glue it somewhere else if you want to. I love this songbook. Here's another craft wrapping paper. It was used. You can see where it was folded and crumpled. But it's so pretty. And a little gift tag from the scrapbook. This was just a leftover strip that I had probably from several years ago. It just has a pretty Christmassy border on it, and I just glued it on there as a little tuck spot. I cut this out of a 1940s wrapping paper and tucked it in there. You can write on it because I backed it with another paper. And another one of those little gift tags. I think there's another design of a double-decker bus. If I remember, I'll go back and I'll put that in there instead of that, so they're not having the same one. Just give you some variety, if I remember. Another bingo card. And I added a little scrap of fabric and another cutout piece from that Swedish paper. And another vintage lined paper. And this adorable little Christmas card to a sweet little girl at Christmas. It says Wenda on her muff. Isn't she cute? From Dorothy. And some more kids in their pajamas from the Sears book. I glued them to cardstock so you can write on that. I just left the bottom of it like a rectangle, like a journaling card. And I stamped this. This is one of Lorna Taylor's Christmas stamps from a couple years ago. And the last signature, we have a pocket of green stamps with a 1940s Santa Claus decoration, package decoration. This is a vintage gift tag, but it's not the 40s. It might be 70s or 80s, and that's digital. another plaid page, and an antique card, well, almost antique, 1929. Merry Christmas Tide, Happy New Year. And this came out of that sticker book that I've been using. It's a Santa Claus. You can see it had a dot to dot on the back. And I included the directions. I don't think they'd be too hard. And the image of what it's supposed to look like. So you can glue that together. It didn't have a flap. It should have had a flap. Tape the sides together. Well, if you wanted to add a flap to it, you could glue it. But it's really cute. Just something fun to include. Or leave it the way it is and you can write on the back. I like him peeking out. There's another Swiss trim there. I did some silver embossing of the jingle bells. I usually do them in gold. This is the first time I've done them in silver, and I thought they were really pretty silver bells. Wrapping paper deer. And I had opened up this envelope. It was a first day cover. And this was in the scrapbook with this poinsettia already stuck to it, so the poinsettia is upside down. She used some of these old seals to just stick stuff into the album. This is a song page. Another napkin. And here's the other side of the envelope. Another 1940s gift tag, which I think is really, really cute. And some wrapping paper. I put a strip of washi tape down where the flap would fold, just to hold it securely. And this is the envelope, the stamps on the envelope. And the snowman from that sticker book. You didn't see him with all the stickers on him. And I put some cardstock on this much of him so that the part sticking out wouldn't bend too much. There's a little Swedish stamp behind him and these little stamps here. They look, I think they are from Sweden. She sent them to me, Karina sent them to me, and they're letter boxes with birds. And another eggnog label or cap, and then this is a very shallow pocket. This was out of a scrapbook. I could not remove this from the scrapbook page, so this is the scrapbook page. And it was in good enough condition that I could just cut it into a tag shape. This was already on it, that hole with the reinforcement, and it was perfect to put in there, right? Some extra tickets you can play with, a bingo sheet, a napkin with some holly that you can play with. It's got one of those holly pieces is missing because I used it in this journal. And this came out of a collector's book that I had. I backed it onto cardstock and you can journal on it. And the last page is just a collage of a bridge score pad that you can write on, another little piece from one of the Swedish stamp books, and a German scrap that Karina sent me, a bingo card, and this little stamp. And here is the other side of that fabric piece, which is now a pocket, and another piece of that gorgeous Christmas card. I put a little label here, and my signature is on the back. So, like I said, I think this is my favorite of all the Christmas journals that I made this year. And I will include some other things. My next job, for as soon as I turn this camera off, is to start cleaning up the mess in here and getting my Christmas stuff organized. I will be selling most of it. I will keep some pieces, but I don't want to keep a lot. So I will include some of the extra pieces with this journal. And then you can watch my shop for bundles that I'll be putting in of my remaining Christmas supplies, including stuff that Karina sent me. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all of your kind comments on all of the Christmas journals that I've made this year. And you can follow the link below to go find my journal. And I didn't even tell you when it will be listed in my shop. I'm so sorry. I will list it at 6 p.m. this evening, which will be Thursday, November 2nd. So you can go to my shop around 6 p.m. and snag it if you're the first one to get it. And good luck to whoever wants it. Thanks all. Merry Christmas. It's early. It's November 1st, but you know, we're in Christmas mode right now. Happy holidays and have a creative day. Bye-bye.